We got ourselves a Vortex Lightning going down on this Warthog to try and catch the hero, to putting pressure on Dark Blue's base and also trying to dodge an ability going down, to putting more pressure on Green's second expansion base with bunker play, to finally getting a beautiful Mac and see how that turns out. But let's go ahead and start at the beginning here. We're going to jump a little bit earlier into the early game where we went with a classic economy expansion with double gen and supplies. And we're going to go ahead and use this mini base to go ahead and get our hero out. So this is going to be a heavy marine base build with a hero that's going to be backing it up. And there's going to be bunker play associated with it. We were able to get both our mini bases, and so things are looking relatively smooth this early game so far. And we're going to start trying to go after this node. And speaking of which, Blue has already captured this node, which is quite unfortunate. They're getting that additional power, but we're going to go ahead and try and put a little bit of pressure. And speaking of pressure, Green is getting that high ground over at mid with their Marines so they can get that extra vision. And so that's a little bit unfortunate in that regards, but we're going to start retreating for whatever reason why we chose not to capture that node anymore. And I think it was because the Forge Hog has just shown up and there's no way we can fight that Forge Hog until we have that grenade ability or at least our hero with Smart Missile coming in. So we decided to go for a full scale retreat. Could have honestly left that Marine to finish capturing that node in my opinion, so that's something put in that noggin to make sure we know better for next time. But we're going to go ahead and get that grenade ability, and we're going to go ahead and keep producing some additional Marines. So once we get that grenade ability up, we're going to be able to take advantage against Forge when the opportunity arises. We do have Orange that is playing as Pessimist, if I'm not mistaken, or it could be Yellow, and the other one is playing as Vortis. So I'm going to say Orange is Vortis and Yellow is Pessimist, and a bunker is going down at mid to try and contest the middle node. They were able to deactivate our node, but I think we were able to at least put up the pressure that we need to get that Marine and stop it from capturing. And speaking of which, the Forge Hog has now just shown up. So now we're trying to get our Marines in a good position so that way we can go ahead and bait this Forge Hog. And so we're trying to get the remainder of our reinforcements to come in, and we just got the grenade ability. So now our hero is going to take the high ground. These Marines are going to come in to go ahead and try and push. And now we're going to go ahead and just see if we can do something about this. The Y move does go down, but it doesn't hit a lot of our Marines. And the rest of our grenades are going down, which means we are able to take out that hero right away. What a beautiful engagement. And now we have control of center. And we're going to start working on to the next phase. We're going to keep making some Marines. We're going to go ahead and try and get a second base and recapture these nodes that are associated with us. And so because of this, a nice little kill for the early game. We're going to try and take advantage of this both economy wise and hero wise. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can do some damage. If there's a second expansion base at that top right side, we're going to place a bunker just to protect our units. And so we're going to start heading over, and then all of a sudden, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to end up getting engaged by a couple Marines. Yeah, there they are. They have Marines hidden at the top. And so we're going to go ahead and retreat in order to get rid of these Marines. And they're doing some great damage. We're going to go ahead and throw some grenades to clear the rest of them up in order to keep that one Marine alive, which is always pretty nice. And we're going to set our other Marine up on the high ground ramp to make sure that there's no expansion base that's currently going on by Green. And then all of a sudden, Forge has shown up. Great Y move by him. He was able to get rid of one of the Marines, but our Johnny has also thrown down our Y move of our own. And now that we have Mac, we will be able to go ahead and contest whatever this Forge Hog shows up with. And so supply pad is going down, which is going to be pretty nice as always. And we were able to get a little bit of a heal with Forge's ability. So we do have plenty of Marines. We're going to go ahead and put this locked up on the high ground for one of the Marines as well to get that additional vision that we need. And we're going to see if there's an expansion base that's happening right on top of where my base is at. But as of right now, it doesn't really look like it. And now we need to decide how we're going to go ahead and pressure. And there's Grunts trying to scout to see if I have a second base. And unfortunately, they're going to be able to see that. And so now we are officially in Tech 2. We're going to get that gen going, and we're going to get that air pad going as well, since we do have a good amount of Marines. A bunker is going down. Jetpack Brute are also going down. So hopefully Orange will take advantage of that bunker to try and deal with additional damage associated with what we've got. I don't have the power that I need yet to go ahead and upgrade my hero. And it does look like orange will do some damage, and the cleansing is going down to help kill some of the enemy units, and the scatter bomb is going down on me as well, trying to micro to the best of our ability. We saved a bunch of marines. It could have been a lot worse than that, and Johnson is going to come in to kill the remainder of the marines that are associated with it, or I should say destroy, you know. And so we're going to go with double garage play in order to go ahead and start producing mantises. That is the next step, next phase of our phase. I have no idea what I'm trying to say. Ooh, that was a pretty good rhyme. And so you have light blue chilling to protect green's base. Yellow has a good expansion base, and everything's looking fine with our Decimus over there. And Vortis was able to put a little bit of pressure, but unfortunately was not able to capitalize on anything except for the extra resource gain. And there's a shipmaster already going after my marine that I have, trying to get vision on that high ground over there. So we are going to place a defensive bunker in order for us to fall back to, and we're going to put some marines in there. And looks like we're going to give up that location on that right hand node side, at least for now. So we are going to start with Kodiak production, which is always going to be very nice to have. And we're going to go ahead and keep making that additional supply pads, because we're very supply heavy right now with the amount of marines, and we're trying to get nightingales, and we're using bunkers. It's just a lot as a whole. And so speaking of which, green has some warhogs and forge hogs dealing at that top part ramp of his expansion base. And so we're going to have to try and figure out a way to engage this. So we're going to try and split up our units to the best of our ability, and then we're going to throw down a max so we can try and get rid of the forge hog. We're going to use grenade ability on the forge hog. Combat mechanics just finished as well, which is always pretty nice. And it does look like the forge hog is going to be taken out. It does, but a Y move does go down on our marines. But we have our own Y move for our hero to help do damage reduction and get some heals ourselves. And we're going to go ahead and keep making some additional Kodiaks to go ahead and defend against this, in order to put more pressure actually against the enemy. So we're getting some good upgrades. We're getting the reinforcement upgrade as well, and so things are looking relatively better, but we still have a ways to go. We're going to get the scout upgrade because of the fact that we are going to have these Kodiaks set up on these high ground ramps. And next we'll be moving on to the next phase, but we are going to upgrade bunker. And it's quite surprising that I did not choose to upgrade my marines whatsoever, besides getting combat mechanics. But we are going to go ahead and drop a bunker, and we're going to try and make this engagement over here work. We're going to have our hero right by our bunker so we can go ahead and do the additional damage that we can. And we are getting rid of nightingales right away, which is always pretty nice. But a shipmaster's coming from behind, which is going to pose a problem. Bunch of rams that's going on to our hero Johnson over here. We're going to start trying to retreat our hero, but it doesn't look like we will be able to, because light blue also has reinforcements coming in as well. I'm going to start making turrets on our base. We're going to get the shield upgrades for our mantis. And we do have nightingales starting to move up, but we got to get them set up and postured correctly. Our hero is unfortunately taken out, so we're going to have to rebuild that. And we're going to have to set up our Kodiaks to a higher ground so we can go ahead and deal with that when the time comes. And green is looking to go ahead and do something about these Kodiaks that I have going on here. And yellow has Banshees just chilling at the base, and so I'm kind of in a tough spot. I overcommitted with all my marines, and I don't really have anything that could fight at this moment. I'm producing more marines, more mantises now at this point. But we did lose a Kodiak, which is quite unfortunate. Vortex Lightning is going down. We're going to try and retreat the rest of our marines, but as of right now, it's not really looking too hot. But here comes the cavalry reinforcements of the Amass Air Decimus. We all know how I feel about that, but you know, it is what it is. It's good to have on your team if you're able to help them get to that position. But Amass Air is doing pretty good, dealing with the Forge Hog and the rest of the Warhogs, just clearing out everything that green has, which is looking pretty good. And we're going to go ahead and reset up some Kodiaks. We do have a scout that's going to be used to help provide the additional vision that we need, so the siege can go ahead and continue their thing. Mantis production is continuing. No idea why I still have the habit of just going to those buildings instead of actually, you know, using my hot groups. But hey, live and learn. I gotta condition myself better than what I'm doing right now. And the Banshees are currently going after those turrets in order to go ahead and take those things out to do more damage down the line. And here comes light blue coming from behind. We do have Mantis that will be able to go ahead and engage against these Reavers, because we want to get rid of the Reavers because that's the weakness for the Decimus that is here. And we're focusing on them, we're focusing down on them pretty well. We are taking out some of the mines that got dropped. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get rid of all of them. And it does look like we're going to go ahead and just clear out the remainder of Light Blue's units over here. We're going to drop down a bunker so we can go ahead and put our hero in there. Additional reinforcements is coming in by Yellow with the Banshees. And now that we have enough Mantis, we're going to try and take a better engagement than what we have. We have Siege hitting the Shipmaster, and now we're going to try and micro to the best of our ability to keep this Mantis alive. We're going to try and body block with our hero. And they do have that invisibility by that Shipmaster, so that is a problem. We're going to try and get additional Nightingales to show up, but we do have the additional vision now because the scout is in the high ground. He has no idea that that's the thing. We're trying to go ahead and work on our Mantis, and we were able to take it out right before the Shipmaster was able to do its recall ability. We're heading to Tech 3. We have good siege pressure, and we're just applying a lot of pressure. It doesn't look like Green's base is going to be lasting much longer. We cleared out a lot of his units, and we cleared out everything that Light Blue has, including that rank 1 Shipmaster. And so now my goal is to go ahead and see if there's an expansion base that is going on by Dark Blue, or if Light Green got a second expansion base on that side as well. So right now only Green is set up to just one base, but Light Blue should have a second base, which is not something we're trying to pressure at the moment. But I'm going to start thinking about trying to pressure Blue as a whole. So we're going to go ahead and grab this base, and then all of a sudden Blue shows up with quite the army comp of Hornets and Warhogs, and a Vortex, not a Vortex, but the goo from the Vortex slows everything down, so that way the Mac can go ahead and go down. And look at this, all that army is practically all gone as a whole. And there is a Mac that's being thrown down as Isabel as well. But this was just excellent damage that was just done as a whole. And now that we're at Tech 3, we're going to go ahead and keep getting those vehicle upgrades. And at this point, things are looking very, very good for us. The enemy forge is on Tech 3, but because we were able to reset the army count that Blue had for Dark Blue, there's actually pressure by Vortis right now that's hitting his second expansion base. While we're going to go ahead and start working on these Reavers that are showing up. Even though there's a Shipmaster here, we're going to clear out the anti-air to help with the Decimus. We're going to start our Colossus production, and then we're going to go ahead and try and go after the Forge Hog before it can go ahead and escape, and we are able to kill it. So we're going to keep going after the Warhogs associated with it. And with that being said, enemies end up disconnecting and leaving the game, and we end up getting that victory. All in all, this was a pretty cool game just to see like the coordination that needed to be done, as well as just a different approach. Putting Kodiaks on that ramp is pretty different. And so we went 27 for 42, 17 for 43, and 20 for 31. Enemy all went with an exact amount of 21 units destroyed. That's pretty cool. All in all, good game, well played. This was a great game in my opinion, and hopefully you enjoy it. If you do, leave a like, leave a subscribe, leave a comment if you just like this format as a whole. I really appreciate it. Trying to get better at making these better quality videos. And until next time, G out.